First at 4, breaking news rocks Michigan State University. Head football coach Mark D'Antonio just announced his retirement. We'll talk about that with Bernie Smilovitz. Ben?
Steve, first the chill, then the snow. Wind chills tonight, single digits, and then we got to start shoveling by the middle of the week. We'll tell you how much to expect right now. First at 4.
Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Good afternoon. I'm Steve Garagiola along with Bernie Smilovitz. Many Spartan fans have complained they've wanted a new head football coach, and now I guess they get their wish. But is this still kind of a surprise that he does this?
Oh, I think so, yeah, especially because tomorrow's National Signing Day for the high school players, right? Michigan State made the announcement in a press release a short time ago. Mark D'Antonio spent 13 years at State. No one has said anything about the decision. Supposedly, there's a 6:30 press conference tonight in East Lansing. But we spoke with a source close to D'Antonio who says many factors went into this decision. We've got a highlight to D'Antonio. The source tells us the pressure he felt from the administration to make changes on his coaching staff did not sit well with him. Also, we are told that it just wasn't fun for him anymore, and it was wearing him down. The source also said that 2 years ago, his wife Becky implored him to retire and to begin to enjoy life. D'Antonio was paid a $4.3 million bonus on January 15th, and now 2 weeks later, he says goodbye. You might be saying, well, who would replace him and who's the person? The name most often heard right now is Luke Fickell. Spent 1 year at Ohio State in 2011 before Urban Meyer came there after the Jim Tressel mess. So Luke Fickell, now at Cincinnati, led them to 11-3 record last year. No deals in place, we are told, but Luke Fickell's the name we're hearing most often.
And of course, if there were complaints about what's going to happen with the staff before head coach leaves, the staff is always in trouble.
Bye-bye, yeah.
Bye-bye.
And there's also a lawsuit by one of his assistants, Curtis Blackwell, claiming that D'Antonio constantly broke NCAA rules, and that also was weighing on him. So there's so many factors as one thing. 6:30 tonight, we should hear much more of what really happened.
And get a fresh start out there. All right, thank you, Bernie.
Yeah.
All right, let's get our first look at the weather. Our short winter break comes to an end. There's some snow on the way. Ben, where do things stand right now?
Just a little bit, Steve. Yeah, we've got a mess of rain south of us right now, but that will stay south of us. Our concern is this little patch of snow that's out here in the panhandle of Texas. Doesn't look all that impressive right now, and it's really not, but you can watch how this thing develops as we get through the next 24 to 36 hours. You can see this little train track of snow is going to start rolling right into Michigan once we get into Thursday, and especially Thursday morning. That's going to continue through early parts of Friday. Right now, it looks like the 6-inch totals may stay off to our south, but we're going to get a good dose that we're going to end up shoveling here, especially during the commute on Thursday morning. We'll talk more about the timing of this, the cold that's coming after and before, and look at those wind chills tonight, all in a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Ben. The Iowa caucus cliffhanger continues. Results from the first Democratic presidential caucus still on hold as the campaigns have packed up and moved on to New Hampshire. Local 4's Kimberly Gill is in the newsroom. She's monitoring the situation. All right, so Kim, no clear answers yet, but it sounds like we might get something soon.
Fingers crossed here, Steve. Good afternoon to you. You're right. The presidential campaigns are hearing that we could see the first results in maybe about an hour or so. It's not really clear how many of those results, though, will be ready. Right now, Iowa Democrats are scrambling to recover from hours of chaos and confusion. Party officials blame problems with a new app they were supposed to use to report results. They say it was caused by a coding error and not any kind of hacking or cyber interference. They spent the entire day trying to verify the votes with a good old-fashioned paper trail. So meanwhile, the candidates are hitting the ground running in New Hampshire. Each had hoped to ride his or her momentum into the next battle, but everything is, as we said, up in the air back in Iowa. So the candidates are jockeying for position, and we'll probably have more to say once we see some actual results from Iowa. The confusion could leave Iowa fighting to keep its spot as the first presidential race of the season. There are already suggestions that other states, including the state of Michigan, take that leadoff position. We'll have the first results as soon as they are released, again, possibly by 5 p.m. our time. So stay with Local 4 and click on Detroit.com. Until then, Steve, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
Oh, a lot of pressure on those folks in Iowa to make it happen.
Indeed.
Thanks, Kimberly.
Sure.
Tonight, President Trump will own the political spotlight when he delivers his State of the Union address. I guess the big question, will he focus on goals and accomplishment or veer back to the impeachment battle? The White House says his speech will be one of optimism. You can watch the President's State of the Union address right here on Local 4, starting at 9 p.m. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer will offer the Democratic response to President Trump. She'll deliver her response from East Lansing High School, where her daughters are currently enrolled. Democrats hoping her appearance will highlight their ability to win back states that President Trump narrowly captured in 2016. But hanging over the State of the Union is President Trump's impeachment trial in the U.S. Senate. Today, some senators made speeches declaring how they'll vote and why. A two-thirds majority is needed to remove a president from office, and there is no indication at all that will happen to President Trump. The vote to end the trial, most likely with an acquittal, is scheduled for around 4 p.m. tomorrow. Detroit police and the Michigan Humane Society have shut down an alleged dogfighting ring in Detroit. That discovery was made at a home on Abington near the Southfield Freeway. Investigators say 21 dogs were found inside, all of them alive, but most in need of medical care. Police also found equipment associated with conditioning dogs to fight. One man is in custody, facing possible felony charges. Also on Detroit's west side, a home invasion victim fights back, sending her attacker to the hospital. It happened at a home on Asbury Park in the area of McNichols and Puritan. Police say the home invader allegedly broke into the home through a front window. A woman inside the house hit the man with an object, and now he's in the hospital in critical condition. We have no word on what charges he'll face. The coronavirus epidemic continues to grow as China fights the spread of the virus in Wuhan, the city where the outbreak began. The first patients have been admitted to a 1,000-bed emergency hospital built in just 10 days in Wuhan. Another new hospital should open later this week. China now reports 425 deaths from the coronavirus, with more than 20,000 people infected. Nearly 200 other cases have been reported in 24 countries. There are 11 confirmed cases here in the U.S. A cruise ship with 3,700 people on board is in quarantine off the coast of Japan. It's all over the coronavirus. A Chinese citizen on the ship was diagnosed with coronavirus when he got off at a stop in Hong Kong. He remains hospitalized there. All the ship's passengers and crew are being tested. They'll have to stay on board that ship at least until tonight. As we wait for those Iowa caucus results, we get a local lesson on politics and teenagers. We first met a group of students from Detroit Country Day 4 years ago as they took a deep dive into presidential politics. Now Paula Tutman visits them once again as a new election cycle is off and running.
These kids were actually assigned a political party, whether they agreed with it or not, to argue that political view. They were just little kids back then. Take a look. But now take a look at them now. And also hear how their opinions have changed from what they were arguing 4 years ago.
Hillary Clinton will promote the best practices among law enforcement.
Most agreed with the political affiliation they were assigned. Aubie, the Democratic Party, even though his parents are hardcore Republicans.
From cutting the business tax rate down to 15%.
Nick, the Republican Party.
The Republican Party will work hard to make sure that our economy thrives.
Ella, the Republican Party, even though she did not agree with its principles.
The process of performing a thorough background check on thousands of people.
So we just had to debate what we were given.
And Tess, the Democratic Party.
But what if we could stop bad people from getting those guns in the first place?
Ugh, I cringe at that because I can make such a better argument nowadays.
We watched them watch their 4 years ago selves.
I understand that these families, they're in trouble. They don't have a home. And my mom was trying to tell me, what if this was us? But I also understand how the Republican Party feels.
Whose opinions have changed. Today, Nick says he has not moved left, but he is definitely less right.
I think in 7th grade, I was probably relative to where I am now, more strict on immigration, for example. But now I think we can be more lenient with who's coming into our country.
Aubie, much like Nick, has moved a little more to the center.
But after I researched it, I looked at statistics from other countries where Switzerland has one of the highest gun ownership rates across all of Europe. Almost every single person there owns a gun, but they have one of the lowest homicide rates for firearms. So as I read more of these statistics, I started to realize that it wasn't people having guns that was the problem. The problem was the whole idea, the culture around weapons.
Ella still feels there's a better way to treat immigrants.
There's probably a more compassionate way to handle it than like what's been done in the past 4 years.
Tess says she understands that as a 15-year-old, issues are not black and white, but have more complexity.
I just basically said, less guns. But now I think that there's so many facets to the issue, and we're not trying to take away their guns. We're trying to make guns safer. We're trying to stop things like school and mass shootings.
But one thing remained absolutely unchanged.
We celebrate our differences, but we also celebrate how can we be friends and how can we grow together.
Even though we are different, there's still a lot that brings us together.
They all still vote yes on friendship. Paula Tutman, Local 4.
And that's probably the key as we enter this political season. These students, unlike many adults, have declared they will not take the bait and fight with each other over politics. They will remain friends no matter what their political views or those of their parents. Still ahead, a TV actress is fighting a new cancer battle. Why she's coming forward now and her message for anyone fighting the disease. Also, Dr.
Hey Steve, we'll also be talking about about cancer and the one thing that might improve your odds in dealing with 8 different types of cancer, plus the dangerous mistake you could be making with your phone. I'll have that in good health.
And later, how do you call 911 when you can't use your hands? See how one woman finally got help during a desperate and painful situation. We'll be right back.
The threats are real, and they affect everyone. That's why Local 4 is committed to defending the environment. Local 4 and Click on Detroit, getting results.